Today marks a very sad day here at Grindavik as we bid farewell to a club legend. 74 games, 86 goals, 6 titles, 4 golden boots, and of course a stand named after him here at the new Grindavik Stadium before it was torn down to be rebuilt. So Fausto Guidini, mate, you will be forever remembered. So, for Christ's sake, guys, can you knock it off for 5 minutes? We're trying to have a moment here. No respect.
Synger sammen til segerstroppen áfram Grindavik. Og jeg vet, við magnum gerir það.
Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Grindavik on the Impossible Dream. It is Season 12, Episode 4 today. We start our Champions League campaign. Sarajevo is our first stop. But it's an episode of goodbyes. Sinistera and Higuain's loans are finished, so they've left. We'll miss one of those guys. And Guidini, it's official. He is leaving us August 1st, which is about 5 days' time, 6 days' time. 1.7 million. He goes to Valerenga in Norway. I was hoping we could get him a bigger club maybe than that, but that was the biggest fee, 1.7 million. And he's a club legend, isn't he? The game may not say so because I don't think it's adding in club legends or anything like that, but certainly for players. But yeah, there we go. He's been a very good player for us, that is for sure. We have just moved past him, haven't we? You look at his stats there, his attributes, I should say. It's not that they're bad. They're really not, but we can just do better. We can just do better, and despite his goal-scoring record, he can still do it in the league, obviously, but we would have to register him. He's not an auto-register. He's not playing in Europe, so there's no real need. Now, we were trying to wait for him to get his citizenship for Iceland. Awaiting paperwork. He's done the time. Hopefully the paperwork will show up and we can forward it on to Norway for him. And let's hope we do see him in an Icelandic national team shirt at some point. His favourite club is Grindavik. It'd be very nice, wouldn't it? I think if he could become Guidini-son before the end of this series. His career with us was nothing short of spectacular. 78 appearances overall in his career. 4 of those were for Inter. So 74 for us and 86 goals. That is just a phenomenal return. So yeah, leave your favourite Guidini memories in the comments. There's always some I forget, but yeah, just banged in goals, didn't he? And these are just league goals. These aren't even the goals that he did in Europe in the Cups. He just used to score for us. It's for fun in Europe, didn't he? So not bad for a free transfer back in 2027, I would say. But there we go. That is Guidini. He has left. There are 2 games to catch you up on from the league since last episode. The first of those was against FH, so let's go see how it went. It took until the 90th minute for Kruzliak to give us the lead, before Milosevic made it 2-0 in stoppage time, and then made it 3-0 moments later. So 3 goals in 3 minutes at the end of the game. To be fair, that the score doesn't flatter us. That's what the score possibly, was what it should have been, but we did just take a very long time to get there. I thought we were going to drop our first points of the year. You can see Sima did not have a good time up front. We brought Kruzliak on up front, and he changed the game for us, got the goal, had one ruled out a minute earlier, you can see there. So yeah, a deserved win, even if we did leave it very, very late. Another game to catch you up on was against Fram. We took the lead late in the first half when Stanojevic picked out Boutenton's run. And it was 2-0 early in the second half when Arneson found Boutenton. So we were in control of the game. You can see from the XG tracker there, it should have been more, as it usually should be when we play. But possession was relatively even. They didn't threaten us, though. They really, really didn't. Now, this was the game before Europe, so it was sort of the backups that were playing this one, except for maybe Puwol in goal. But yeah, it was a strong enough performance. We were never really in danger. Now, the league table. And we don't really need to keep updating this, to be honest. But 10 points clear. We're just over the halfway mark in terms of games, because we've played 12 of the 22. And yeah, plus 41 goal difference. We don't need to spend much time on this screen, really, do we? Let's go and have a look at what we're doing here as we face Sarajevo. We are away from home in the first leg, so that makes it a little bit more difficult in theory, though if we can get a decent lead to bring home with us, it should be all right from there. So a 4-2-3-1 is what we're expecting, and this is the team we're sending out. So it is Puwol in goal, it is Giannacini, it is Marjuros, it is Degen, and Volpez as the back 4. Only one of those, or 2 of those really, were around last season, weren't they? So half of that is new. Conde, Raul, and Bakali in midfield. It is Milosevic, Beyonce, and Kruzliak gets a nod up front. You can see Rafferson's got a bit of a knock. It's okay. If we need him, he'll be able to play. And you can see the bench there as well. It's a strong one. It's a very, very strong squad we have these days. So let's hope we put up a score here. All right, so we can see the team sheets there. There's no names that we recognise. I would certainly not think so anyway, unless you are a Bosnian football expert, which maybe you are. What do we want to say to this? Put on a worthy display. Let's just... We're the favourites. Let's leave them no doubt as to why. Yeah, as I say, hopefully we can get a nice, comfortable first leg lead. Oh, I clicked straight through the press conference there, which maybe isn't great, but anyway. Well, we can see there they've got wing-backs, so we've got nothing like what we're expecting out of them. It's a nice big stadium we're playing in. I did get that question in the pre-game press conference, if we were nervous about playing in a big stadium. I think we've played in front of more fans at our own ground, to be honest. It doesn't look particularly full, does it? So, yeah, should be fine this one. If we do win the first leg comfortably, then we will see. There's no point really showing we don't drag seasons out, so there's no point necessarily showing a meaningless second leg, but we'll just have to wait and see where fixture rearrangements fall and whatnot. We do have potentially a cup semi-final in the near future, but that could get rearranged depending on how things go here, of course. So, a nice early highlight. Let's see what we can do. Volpez comes forward. One thing you don't ever want to do is underestimate these sort of Eastern European teams, because we know that they can be quite decent. But yeah, we're relatively match fit, ready to go. Beyonce back to Gionacini, and it's a header from Milosevic, and it is his 8th of the season. A lot of those have come from the penalty spot, but in the 3rd minute we've taken the lead, and that's just a little confidence settler, isn't it? How was I going to say that again? Giacchini. Let's go with Giacchini, and if you want to try and correct me, you can try, but I think I'm going to settle on Giacchini. But there we go, 1-0 up. Milosevic with the goal, and let's see if we can go on with this now. But yeah, sometimes these Eastern European teams can be quite tricky. And I'm curious to see how Marios goes at the back as well. I mean, he is a wonder kid. We did see when we signed him that the weakness in his game is tackling, which isn't great for a defender, never mind a centre-back. And we did have, we wouldn't have got him because he went to Paris, and they've sort of been learning him out since. But I did look at signing him before he went to Paris, and the big reason I didn't was just simply down to the tackling. I didn't really want a centre-back necessarily that couldn't tackle. And this is looking okay so far. Volpez, can he whip across him? We don't really have... there's a good ball for Milosevic, in again. And Milosevic, the Serbian, is just... I've got to be careful how I phrase this. He's doing some damage in Bosnia right now, isn't he? It is 2-0, and this was some nice build-up play. Just sucking them in, weren't we? And then was it Raul with the pass? Of course it is, because he's just a wonderful passer of the football. And we saw Milosevic as well, and I'll refresh you on his stats momentarily, or attributes, I should say, not stats. He is more than capable of playing as a striker. He's a very, very decent finisher of an attacking move. So, yeah, he could potentially be a big player for us this season in Europe. Which is really, we don't need big players in the league. We've got plenty of those. Is that a penalty? It doesn't matter because Beyonce stuck it in. And I think it probably was a penalty for the foul on Kruzliak, but it is 3-0. Now, what we don't need here is a Kruzliak injury, given that the game is essentially done. Volpez did well, whipped the cross in, and, well, Beyonce really couldn't miss, could he? Be interested to see. Now, okay, no, so it's their guy that's gone down. He's injured himself trying to tackle Kruzliak. So it doesn't matter if he's injured or not, really, does it? I didn't change the marking assignments. We seem to be doing okay. So we'll just leave them. It's the sort of professionalism you get with me. It's fine. We're winning, so we'll just mark who you want. There's a ball forward. Giacchini gets it back there. And we will build from the back. Conde, wide there for Beyonce. Bakali, look at that defense splitter. Kruzliak is in. Oh, Jesus. Well, you do expect him to score that, I've got to say. What we don't need is another Boutenson from last year where we just had a very good striker with a European blind spot. So let's hope that that is not what's going to happen there. The Kruzliak, don't let your performance levels drop. The more we can rack up here, then the more comfortable the second leg will be and the more players I can rest as well. So we'll give Kruzliak a little bit of time here to get his act together. That has gone in. Is it? It's Mazuros with his first goal for the club. And it had the feeling like one that was going to either be ruled out or going to be an own goal. But he's leapt up. Raul must be close to being offside and standing in front of the goalkeeper, but we've got away with it. Mazuros is underway as a Grindavik player. And at 4-0 away from home, I think we can just about say that this is safe. Milosevic, it looks like he's got a bit of a knock, so we'll bring Kosh on. You will notice that Obot is in the squad. We've been able to register. He's not registered in the league, but he is registered. Oh, it's Kruzliak with a bullet header. But yeah, he is registered in the European squad, obviously. So yeah, so that's all good. It is 5-0. It's a very, very good header from Kruzliak. And yeah, again, level of opposition maybe isn't great. It's a step up from what we face in the league, though. And we have looked very, very good here indeed. Now, I was looking, because obviously we've given out quite a bit of money to some teams in the league, as Bakali. Oh, that's a very, very nice goal. Nice first touch. Nice ball through to him as well. It is 6-0, and they are somewhat falling to pieces here, aren't they? Bakali lays it back to Giacchini, and yeah, pass, move, good first touch to get free of the defender, and a nice little finish there as well. As I've said many times, he's too good to be Australian, Bakali. Yeah, so I was checking, you know, like, where is this money going, basically, if no one's turning professional? There is a lot of expanded stadiums coming in Iceland in the next few seasons as Raul's effort goes. Oh! Dagan has scored somehow. The Raul free kick looked like it hit the wall, popped up, and has no one reacted apart from Dagan. Certainly the goalkeeper didn't react. That's a howler from the goalkeeper. But it is now 7-0. And wonderful stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of new stadiums that are coming in, like 11,000-seater stadiums. Now, there's a part of me that thinks, are we going to, you know, is that just sort of white elephants? Do we need stadiums that big in Iceland? But if teams can fill them, as Kruzliak gets another one, and this is officially a bloodbath now, isn't it? But yeah, you know, if we can fill them, and you know, we're going into an 11-seater stadium as well, 11,000-seater stadium. Folgner are selling out an 8,000-seat stadium. I'm trying to think now who the teams were. Vikinger was definitely one of them. There was a few different ones, and they were all sort of 11,000 seats. So if, and it's a big if, but if that can go through, and everybody starts selling out those stadiums, that is going to turn us into basically a professional league, I would have thought, sooner rather than later. So that is, at least the money's going some way to develop the league, even if it's not necessarily on the pitch right now. Hopefully, it'll be on the pitch moving forward. So there we go. Simply great. Classy Kruzliak with a double. And, well, there's not really much need to show the second leg, is there? So we will probably look, well, we'll see. I'll get through this second leg and then we'll see how the fixture rearrangements work out. All right, welcome back. And we have got Partizan in the next qualifying round. That is not ideal. They are a good Partizan side because I've been scouting their players. Just sort of coincidentally, we've you know, sent the scouts out and they found quite a few of the guys that are in the current team. So yeah, that's not ideal. We might be in a little bit tough here. But anyway, we've got some games to catch you up on. But before we do that, actually, we have had a bit of a weird transfer situation. And it involves Ari Newsonen. Now, you may remember last episode I said that we had accepted a bid from Porto, 5 million, 50% of the next fee. I was really excited about it. We'll get him loaned back. Apparently, I'd offered him a contract because he had asked about a contract, and he accepted our contract and rejected Porto. So that kind of was a bit of a pain in the backside, but I was okay with it. But then Palmer came in, offered him, take him on loan, pay his wages with a loan fee. Now, given our financial situation, which I am increasingly worried about, I thought, you know what, let's do that. Let's send him out. It's going to get arguably, I wouldn't say maybe not better coaching, but certainly good coaching, as good at coaching. He's going to play, in theory, in Serie A because that's what they said he was going to do. And we might even, you can see there, the transfer value goes up. We might be able to actually then sell him for more down the line. So he's gone out on loan for the year, which is absolutely fine. But we do have to catch you up on 2 games, the first of which was the second leg against Sarajevo. Was it 8-0 away? Let's see what we did to them at home. Milosevic put us ahead. Obot picked out Baltinson for our second. Before Milosevic unselfishly gave Baltinson his second. And Giacchini crossed for Real to make it 4-0. But Sarajevo pulled one back. Before Real and Baltinson combined for his hat-trick. And Real made it 6-1 at half-time. Volpez crossed for Obot just after the break. And Bakali got our 8th. And Baltinson our 9th. So 17 goals in the end is what we put past them. Now we have had to promise Baltinson first team football, so he played this one obviously because it was essentially done. We did change things up a little bit, though not too much, because we wanted to make sure that that the European players are sort of playing once a week, getting the league off, and then ready to go in Europe again. So yeah, we didn't make sweeping changes, but certainly made enough to get the point across that we were comfortably better than them. The other game to catch you up on was the Europa League team from Iceland this season. Now, they've narrowly lost, unfortunately, but it was Viking out in the next game in the league. Ormarkson gave us an early lead. And it was 2-0 at half-time when Juleson found Ormarkson for his second. Before Kosh picked out Ormarkson for his hat-trick. Gisarasen added a stunner. But Vikinga pulled one back. Before Bjornsson got his first Grindavik goal. So there we go, they were good value for their goal. To be fair to them, they did play a lot better second half, but yeah, we were comfortably all over them. And Ormarkson with a lesser spotted hat-trick. But Baltinson didn't have a great game up front. We brought Seymour on for him. Nezarovic, the Croatian centre-back, made his first appearance. Didn't do particularly well, and it was the winger Bjornsson that got his first goal. We brought him on, I think, for Jofferson, or might have been for Kosh, to rest Kosh in case we needed him in Europe. But anyway, comfortable win it was. Now let's go and have a look at what we're doing here against Partizan. The league table is irrelevant at this point, so there's no point going back and looking at it. We're expecting a 4-2-3-1 out of them, and this is the team we're sending out. Puol in goal. It's Giacchini, Majoros, Degan and Volpez, Conde, Real, Bakali, Milosevic, Beyonce, and Kruzliak going up top. Okay, so we can see the lineups here. I can tell you this guy is very good. We've had a couple of goes at trying to sign him. But yeah, there's a couple of guys in that lineup that are very good. So I'm just say slightly concerned about this. Home form's important. Go out there, make it count. We do need, I think, to make sure we have a relatively comfortable lead going to Serbia. Now, as I did quite just quickly, we're a good team though, aren't we? So maybe I don't need to be as worried about it as I sort of feel here. But anyway, yeah, so as I said, Viking lost. Now, they played Charleroi, I think it is, the Belgian side, lost over the 2 legs by a goal. IA had Maccabi Haifa in Conference League qualifying, lost by the odd goal. And the other team was, I forget, but they were comfortably beaten in Europa League, in the Conference League qualifying. So Vikinger is still alive. They'll go down into Conference League and hopefully for them and for the league's sake manage to get themselves into the group stage. But yeah, I fear a little bit it's going to be a one-horse race for Icelandic teams in Europe. And let's hope we can get through this and find ourselves in the Champions League, because money, money, money. We need it, basically. We're not in a catastrophic position because we obviously have assets we could sell. There's a good ball for Kruzliak. If he's onside, I don't know if he is. The linesman's running back and we have an early lead. Kruzliak, he is looking very, very good in front of goal, isn't he? I missed who it was. Was it Milosevic that played him in? I missed who it was that played the pass. It might have been. Yeah, Milosevic is a good signing, isn't he? £3 million we paid for him. And he looks as though you could add a 0 on the end of that, and you wouldn't be overpaying for him. What is his value? Yeah, I mean, he's worth way more than that. 3.3 was the top end if you didn't see what that said there. Now, you may have noticed some unhappy players. Raul is unhappy because he wanted to go somewhere. But Carly is unhappy because I said I'd play kids at right wing, which I have done sort of, but maybe obviously not enough for his liking. And the other unplayer happy is Albert Jonsson again. Of course, he wanted to go to Arsenal. I don't know why he'd want to go to the European champions. There's another good... Of course we are. He is absolute class. Absolute class. I forget, did we get him? I can't remember what we paid for him now, but it certainly wasn't much. And another one that it looks as though whatever we paid for him, you could add a couple of zeros on the end of it, and teams wouldn't be overpaying. Look at the first touch. He touched it twice before it hit the ground. And it is 2-0, and that is the sort of lead that I was looking to take with me to Serbia, so that is good. Here we go, Milosevic. Maybe we are actually just a very good team this year. There's the ball in. Oh, it's a good header from Degen. Straight at the goalkeeper, though, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't want to get too confident here because, like I say, they do have some very good players. That striker, that Mila Jovic, or whatever his name is very good. Beyonce's in here. He plays... Oh, Kusliak's got a hat-trick in 20 minutes. What a player. What a player he is. And, well, again, I don't want to say job done, but we're just looking very good. I'm cautiously optimistic if we can get past Patas. I think this is one of the toughest draws that we could have got in terms of qualifying. They beat Sheriff Timosol, is it? I think they're Moldovan, aren't they? They put 7 past them. Not 17, obviously, that we put past Sarajevo, but I think Sheriff are a bit of a better quality European side as it's bouncing around in there. We've hit the post and we go back out wide and it is given away there, and that will end the highlight. Milosevic now over a free kick, and that is Degen finding the goalkeeper's arms. You really think we would just play somewhere else rather than the middle of a construction zone, wouldn't you? But that's okay. Beyonce to Bakali, Raul, back to Conde, Bakali. I am beginning to wonder if the next part of the team we need to upgrade is potentially Bakali. There's a cracking ball. Look at the pass, Raul to Volpez. No mistake on the finish. And, well, that is just a thing of beauty, isn't it? So, yeah, needn't have worried. We're 4-0 up after half an hour here. But look at that. Milosevic did well too, didn't he? Just taking the attention away of their left back, wouldn't it? But yeah, I was wondering if Bakali is the next man we need to look to upgrade. He doesn't have much transfer value, but he's still very, very good. He's got, 20 vision, which you don't find in many players. Technically, maybe there's holes in his game, but I just still think he's getting the job done for us. But it is probably the next place that we can look to upgrade. But finding those creative attacking players, it's not always the easiest thing to do. So it may well be that, given, again, financial situation, that we struggle a little bit. The one thing I haven't completely worked out, I think the main source of our loss this particular season, which is coming up towards £60 million, well, I think it's down to transfers, because we really haven't sold anybody, and we did make some big money signings. Volpez wasn't cheap. He was over 10 million. Who else did we sign? I'm trying to think now who else we've signed. But, we have spent quite a bit of money on players, and we haven't really sold anybody. So I think it's a one-off loss in that sense. Oh, Beyonce, almost. So yeah, I don't think we're in a unsustainable position in terms of wages, but I do think that we probably just need to be a little bit more careful on, and by we, I mean me, our spending, during the season. I would like to try and sign Kosh. I think we've got a 10.5 million thing agreed with him. He is quite good, so I would like to get that done. But outside of that, we had the money in the wage budget in the transfer budget this season to be able to do it. I'm just holding off a little bit until we know that we're in the Champions League and we get that 12 million, and then that sort of prize money for getting that far in the Champions League can basically pay to keep Kosh at the club. And then we've got 2 good young right wingers in Milosevic and Kosh. We don't have to worry about it, as That was some nice play, wasn't it? 4-0 should be okay. I don't think we need to show a second. Do we? At 4-0, we probably don't. If they were to get one back, then I'd consider coming back for the second leg, because they are a dangerous side, and going there, there's the potential for it to go wrong. Although, like I say, we've played quite well here, and we are a good side ourselves, so it should be okay. And we're certainly, highlights-wise anyway, more or less dominating everything, aren't we? We definitely need to get a left back as well. I think the guy that we're trying to train, Krosliak, has another one. Beyonce with the assist. Let's say 24 goals he has this season. Wonderful stuff. 5-0. We have torn Partizan apart. And the second leg at this point does look a formality, doesn't it? Raul over the top for Beyonce. First time cross, first time finish. How far can we go in Europe this year? Is this the year that we can get ourselves out of that Champions League phase and into the knockout rounds? It's always going to be a bit of a big ask for us, and it's always going to be draw dependent as well, isn't it? And it's not just the teams that we draw, it's where we draw them. You know, ideally what we want is to try and play the teams that are roughly at our level, play them away from home, and get the bigger sort of first and second seeded teams. We need to get them at home, because we showed last year we were so close to beating, or taking, was it a point off Manchester United and beating Manchester City. That was at home. Krosliak has another one. Does he? No, everybody's standing still. That one was offside. Yeah, it was. Beyonce's offside as well. Everyone just went a little bit too early, didn't they? But yeah, so we'll see what draw we get, obviously, which will determine a big part of how far we can go. But putting 5-0 ahead of, or past Partisan, I should say, that is not a bad thing at all. So 5-star Grindavik, that is now, what's that, 22 goals we have scored. Manchester City's record, of course, we need to get to 50 to break that. We've really been dealt a blow, haven't we, losing our first round qualifying where we could rack up scores as well. But anyway, I think we've had our chance to break that and we failed. But that will do it for today. If you've enjoyed that, thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, of course. We will come back. I'm not sure when this semi-final is going to take place, or if that is going to coincide with the next round of qualifying, but we'll come around either for the semi-final, or I think perhaps it will be the first leg of the next round, unless I have to panic, come back at half-time in the second leg here because it's going wrong. But I think we trust me to get through the second leg there, don't we? So I'll see you for the next round. The final round will be the playoff, won't it? Take care.